Welcome back to R for Economics, and this one we'll be talking about SQL. So we can install the package SQL df, which is SQL to data frames. And it just takes a moment to install, and then we're going to run the library. Running the library, and then we're going to bring in our data set, MT cars. We're very used to, should be very used to that by now. And what we can do is we can actually select gear, and miles per gallon from this data set using a select query, which is an SQL command right here. And that's using the SQL df. And as we can see, we can then get gear and miles per gallon. We can also name it using the usual commands of as. So we can select gear and miles per gallon as miles per gallon. So this is one statement from MT cars. So there we go. We've now got it, and we renamed it from MPG to miles per gallon. Now, if we want to save that as a variable, we can see that we can save it, and we can see up here in our environment that we can see 32 observations, 2 variables. And if we look at our class, we see that MT cars is a data frame, and also X is a data frame. So it stores it as a data frame. So X is now a data frame. Now we can do other things in this. We can also use some of the built-in SQL functions, like average. So now we've got the average miles per gallon. So if we averaged up all these numbers, we could find that out. And we can also average, and we can also count the number of records. So how many records did this come from? Well, it came from 32 records. That makes sense because coming from 32 as being a number of observations. Now, if we want to only select get the gears and the miles per gallon that are less than 20, there we go. Now we can see what that looks like. This would be zeros. This one is less than 20. This one. So where it's a 1, it's true. And then if we just want to get the sum of these, so how many of these things are 1s with records below 20, we can see that it's 18. So 18 of the 32 are less than 20. We can do larger select queries. So if we want to do this one where we select gear, miles per gallon, pick a name for the column from and group by gear, we can see that we're grouping by gear. Gear is 3, 4, 5, and here's our averages. And if we wanted to do the same thing and also give it a variable name, so now we're going to actually save that as a data frame, we can do that as well. So now we've got X, and if we print that off, we see that we printed off this. And if we wanted to look at the class of that, MPG dot by gear, we can see that it's a data frame. So we're able to save these things as data frames, even the collapsed ones in our SQL query. So here we've got cycles and average miles per gallon, but now we're going to group by cycle. And if we look at X, we can see that we group by cycle. So we can do this throughout everything. And in fact, we don't need to give this an actual name. We can actually collapse these things on an indicator. So if we say I is identified as cycle, then we can say paste, which will paste in psych into wherever it sees an I. So it's going to paste I in there, and it's going to be select, cycle, average, same as this one up here. So if we do this, I is equal to that, we can print off the query, and we can see that cycle and cycle have been put in. We can then do that as a command. So we can do it as a command. So as a character string that we've constructed and put it in, and then we can see that we can print our X, and we can see that X is what we expected. And here's an example using gear. So I, and we've got gear 3 to 4. Now, if you remember, in one of the other videos, there is actually the tapply function, which means that we can take MPG and gear, and we can get the mean of that in tapply. And what it does is it takes it for 3 and gives us our mean of the miles per gallon. And you can see that these line up perfectly with our SQL commands, so the functions are the same. All right, that's it for the SQL command so far, and we'll see you in the next video.